Under a soft lavender sky, where the stars twinkled like tiny lanterns and the moon smiled like a glowing friend, a gentle dinosaur named Della was slowly making her way to bed. Della wasn't like other dinosaurs who loved to stomp and roar all day long. She liked quiet evenings, soft blankets, and most of all, her big feather pillow. Tonight was going to be special, because Della had found the fluffiest, dreamiest pillow ever, a giant bundle of feathers so soft it felt like sleeping on a cloud drifting through the sky. The warm evening breeze rustled through the tall ferns as Della padded down the path to her cozy nest. The jungle around her was peaceful, lit with fireflies dancing like golden stars between the trees. In the distance, other dinosaurs were already dozing, their snores rising like tiny puffs of mist into the cool night air. But Della wasn't sleepy yet. She wanted to fluff up her new feather pillow, curl around it, and dream the sweetest dreams in all of Dino Valley. Please subscribe to our channel and tell me in comments from where are you watching this video. She carried the big pillow carefully on her back, each step slow and quiet so she wouldn't lose a single feather. The pillow was made from the soft downy feathers that the great Skybirds had shed earlier that day. It smelled of fresh clouds and sunshine. And every time Della breathed it in, her eyelids grew just a little heavier, like the pillow was already sprinkling her with sleep dust. When she finally reached her nest, tucked between two glowing mushrooms and surrounded by little firefly lights, she set the pillow down in the middle and gave it a gentle pat with her big, scaly paw. It puffed up immediately, fluffy and warm, ready to hold every dream Della had been saving all day. She curled up beside it, nuzzling its soft feathers, and let out a long, happy sigh. The night around her hummed with a lullaby of rustling leaves and distant chirps, promising that this was going to be the coziest sleep she'd ever had. Della snuggled closer to her big feather pillow, feeling its soft warmth beneath her chin. The sky above had grown darker, filled with a million sleepy stars blinking slowly, as if they were yawning along with the dinosaurs down below. A cool breeze drifted through Dino Valley, carrying the sweet scent of night flowers and the distant sound of a bubbling stream. Everything about the night felt perfect for dreaming, but Della wasn't quite ready to close her eyes yet. She wanted to make this night extra special, a bedtime she would remember forever. She gently patted the pillow again, watching the feathers shift and puff up like a fluffy cloud. "Oh, you're even softer than I imagined," she whispered sleepily, as if the pillow could hear her. She curled her long tail around her nest and smiled, feeling warm and safe. This pillow wasn't just for sleeping, it felt magical, like it held the promise of the sweetest dreams anyone could have. Nearby, a little rustle made Della lift her head. Out from behind a glowing mushroom popped her best friend, Tilly the tiny triceratops. Tilly wore a crown of firefly lights around her head, their glow flickering softly in the dark. She let out a quiet giggle as she waddled over, her little feet crunching softly on the grass. "Della," she whispered excitedly, "is tonight the night? Did you finally get your big feather pillow?" Della nodded with a proud, sleepy grin. "I did, Tilly. Feel how soft it is." She patted the pillow gently, and Tilly climbed up beside her, pressing her tiny cheek into the feathers. Her eyes went wide, and she let out a happy sigh. "Oh, this feels like a dream already," she murmured, giggling softly. "It's like sleeping on a floating cloud made of marshmallow fluff." The two friends lay side by side, their tails curled, their bodies relaxed under the soft moonlight. The fireflies hovered around them, making the whole nest glow like a cozy lantern. In the distance, a sleepy brontosaurus let out a long, low hum, like a lullaby only dinosaurs could sing. The sound floated through the valley, mixing with the whisper of leaves swaying in the gentle breeze. It felt like the entire world had slowed down just for them, giving them this one perfect, quiet moment. "Do you think the pillow can give us special dreams?" Tilly asked after a while, her voice drowsy but curious. Della thought about it, her eyes half closed. "I think so," she said softly. I think every feather carries a dream from the Skybirds. They fly so high above the clouds, maybe they've seen magical places we've never imagined. And their feathers keep the memories of those places. When we sleep on them, the dreams find us. Tilly gasped softly, cuddling closer to the pillow. Then we could dream of flying with them? Or swimming in a starlight river? Or sliding down rainbow hills? Her little voice was full of wonder. Della smiled, her heart feeling light and warm. Yes, she whispered, maybe even all of that in one night. The fireflies drifted lower, settling around the edges of the pillow as if they wanted to join in the cozy magic. A soft mist rose from the nearby stream, making the whole nest feel like it was floating in a dream bubble, safe from everything else in the world. Della rested her head on the pillow, her eyelids growing heavier by the second. The feathers were so warm, so gentle, it felt as if they were hugging her and Tilly, promising that no bad dreams would find them tonight. Before sleep could fully pull them under, Della spoke again, her voice barely louder than a sigh. Tilly, no matter where our dreams take us tonight, let's promise to meet in the middle of them, okay? So we can explore together. Tilly smiled sleepily, her tiny eyes closing as she whispered, promise. And as the night wrapped tighter around them, the stars above shimmered brighter. As though they had heard the two friends promise and wanted to keep watch over their dreams. The big feather pillow seemed to hum softly, a tune that only the heart could hear, a lullaby from the Skybirds themselves, carrying Della and Tilly closer and closer to the most magical dreams they had ever known. The night deepened over Dino Valley, painting the sky with deeper shades of blue. While the stars twinkled like sleepy lanterns scattered across a soft velvet blanket. Della shifted slightly on her big feather pillow, letting out a long, happy sigh as the feathers molded perfectly to her shape. Beside her, Tilly nestled in, her tiny triceratops horns barely peeking out from the edge of the pillow. The warm glow of fireflies circled around them. And the whole world felt wrapped in a giant, gentle hug. But this pillow wasn't ordinary. The skybird feathers were rumored to hold magic. And as the two friends began to drift into sleep, that magic slowly started to wake. A faint shimmer glowed around the pillow, pulsing softly like a heartbeat. The glow spread under their heads and tails, weaving a dream so vivid and comforting that it felt more real than the waking world. The dream began with a soft breeze that smelled like honey and wildflowers. Della opened her dream eyes and found herself standing in a vast meadow that seemed to stretch forever, the grass glowing softly under a sky full of moons. Dozens of friendly skybirds soared above, their enormous wings painted with starlight, leaving sparkling trails in the air as they glided effortlessly through the dream sky. Tilly appeared beside her, looking around in awe, her tiny feet sinking into the soft, cloud-like grass. "Is this it, Della?" she whispered. "Is this what the pillow promised?" Della smiled and nodded, her heart swelling with wonder. "Yes, Tilly," she said softly. "We're inside a skybird dream." The two friends began to explore, their steps light and bouncy as if they were walking on air. They followed a gentle path lined with glowing flowers that hummed a quiet lullaby when they brushed past. In the distance, a river made entirely of starlight wound its way through the meadow, glittering like diamonds scattered across velvet. The water didn't flow fast, it floated slowly, calmly. As if it wanted to wait for dreamers to join it. Della and Tilly trotted toward the river, laughing softly when little dream butterflies, sparkling creatures with wings like tiny stars, flew around them, landing on their noses before fluttering away. Everything felt calm, safe, and full of joy, like there was nothing in this dream world but happiness and peace. When they reached the river, a gentle skybird swooped down, its feathers glowing golden and its eyes warm and kind. "Welcome, little dreamers," it said in a voice as soft as clouds brushing against the moon. "This is where your pillow has brought you. Tonight, you'll fly with us, swim in starlight, and find the coziest dreams you've ever known." Tilly gasped, her eyes wide and bright. "Fly? We can really fly?" she asked. The skybird chuckled warmly and lowered its huge, feathery wing. Climb on, little ones. Dreams make anything possible. With hearts beating fast, not from fear but excitement, Della and Tilly climbed onto the skybird's back. The feathers were softer than anything they had ever felt, even softer than their pillow. The skybird lifted gently into the air, flapping its wings slowly and powerfully, carrying them higher and higher until the meadow below looked like a glowing painting. The wind rushed past their faces, cool and refreshing, carrying the sweet scent of dream flowers. As they soared, other skybirds joined them, forming a quiet, glowing flock that glided through the moonlight. Tilly held on tight, giggling softly, while Della closed her eyes for a moment, feeling free, light as a feather herself. They flew past mountains that shimmered like crystal, valleys filled with dream pillows as big as hills, and waterfalls that poured glowing light instead of water. Every sight was calm, every moment slow and magical, as if time in this dreamland only moved when their hearts wanted it to. Eventually, the skybird circled lower and brought them to a hill made entirely of fluffy feathers, glowing softly under the starlit sky. "This is the place where dreams are kept," the skybird explained gently. "Every feather carries a memory of peace, of warmth, of love. Tonight, you can take a little dream feather home with you, so your pillow will keep giving you sweet dreams forever." Della and Tilly walked slowly across the feather hill, each of their steps sinking into the softness. They felt tiny vibrations of joy and laughter under their feet, as if the feathers were alive with happy dreams. Della chose a small, pale blue feather that hummed softly in her paw. Tilly picked a golden one that seemed to glow brighter the closer she held it to her heart. The skybird watched them kindly. "Now," it said, "you are part of this dreamland forever. Whenever you sleep on your pillow, no matter how far away you are, these feathers will call you back here." Della hugged her feather, her eyes misty with sleepy happiness. She looked at Tilly, who was already yawning dreamily, and whispered, "We'll never run out of good dreams now." Tilly smiled softly, her little eyes closing halfway. "Never," she murmured. The skybirds lifted their wings, surrounding the two friends in a gentle breeze that felt like the softest blanket ever made. The stars above seemed to lean closer, blinking slowly as if to lull them further into rest. Della and Tilly curled up side by side on the glowing feather hill, their chosen feathers tucked close, and the dream slowly folded around them like a warm nest. In that moment, they knew they were safe, loved, and held by magic that would never fade, not tonight, not ever, as long as the big feather pillow waited for them back in Dino Valley. The dreamland around Della and Tilly seemed to hum softly as they curled up on the glowing feather hill, their chosen dream feathers warming gently in their paws. The stars above blinked slowly, as if watching over the little friends. As the skybirds circled high in the moonlit sky, their wings leaving soft trails of starlight that painted glowing arches across the heavens. Everything was peaceful, every sound gentle and comforting, yet the magic of the dream wasn't finished just yet. A warm breeze drifted over the hill, carrying the scent of honey clouds and fresh meadows. Della lifted her sleepy head and glanced toward the horizon. In the distance, past the Feather Valley, a faint golden glow began to rise, like the first light of dawn, but softer, warmer, almost like a dream sun waking up just for them. The skybird who had flown them here landed gracefully beside them, its feathers glittering like moonlight on water. "You've felt the comfort of feathers," it said softly, "but there is one more part of the dream for true dreamers like you, finding the nest of Eversleep, where the sweetest dreams are born." Tilly's eyes fluttered open, still heavy with dream dust. "Nest of Eversleep," she murmured curiously. The skybird nodded and lowered its wing once more. "Come with me. I'll show you where dreams are made before they fly into your hearts." Della and Tilly climbed onto the skybird's back again, their tiny dream feathers clutched safely to their chests. The bird leapt into the air, lifting them gently into the glowing sky. They soared above the dreamland, past glittering lakes that rippled with soft lullabies and trees whose leaves glowed like lanterns in the night. Everywhere they flew, magic shimmered quietly, never loud or overwhelming, just peaceful, like the softest bedtime song that could last forever. Soon, they reached the nest of Eversleep. It floated above a glowing meadow on a platform of clouds, enormous yet impossibly delicate. The nest was woven from silver starlight and soft feathers, each strand pulsing with warmth and light. Inside it lay thousands of tiny orbs, each glowing in a different color. The skybird landed silently, folding its wings around Della and Tilly as they climbed down. "These are dream seeds," the bird explained, its voice like a lullaby. "Every kind thought, every hope for comfort and joy, grows into one of these. When dreamers rest, the seeds float to their hearts and bloom into sweet dreams." Tilly gasped softly, her little eyes shining. "So that's where our dreams come from," she whispered. She reached out a tiny paw, touching one of the glowing orbs. Immediately, a soft vision appeared, a dream of her and Della playing in endless fields of flowers, laughing and safe forever. Tilly smiled sleepily, a warm tear of happiness glistening in her dream eyes. Della touched another seed. And a vision bloomed before her. She was curled on her big feather pillow back home, the stars outside her nest shining like friends, her heart full of calm. She looked at the skybird, eyes wide. "Will these dreams stay with us?" she asked softly. The skybird nodded slowly. "Tonight, you'll take a little dream seed home with you. Your pillow will keep it safe. And every night, it will remind you that peace and magic are always waiting for you." The friends each picked a tiny glowing seed, the softest, warmest light they could find. They placed them gently inside their feathers, the glow merging together, humming quietly like a lullaby made just for them. As they held their treasures close, the nest of Eversleep began to glow brighter, filling the air with dream dust that sparkled like falling stars. The skybird lowered its head kindly. "It's time to return," it said, "so you can wake with hearts full of gentle dreams." Della and Tilly climbed onto its back once more, their eyelids growing heavy, the warmth of the seed and feather together lulling them deeper into sleep. They soared back across the dreamland, gliding past meadows and rivers of light, every moment slower, softer. As if the whole world was tucking them in. When they reached the glowing feather hill where they had first landed, the skybird circled once before touching down. "Rest here," it murmured. "This is your place between dreaming and waking. When you open your eyes, you'll be home. And your pillow will remember everything." Della and Tilly curled up side by side once more, their dream feathers and dream seeds glowing softly between them. The skybird wrapped its great wings around them for a moment, like a warm blanket, before lifting off again to join the others in the sky. The stars above leaned closer, humming a lullaby that only little dreamers could hear. The hill faded slowly, the dream sky melting into the soft darkness of Dino Valley night. Their big feather pillow cradled them in the real world, the warmth of their magical treasures still pulsing gently, promising that this was only the beginning of many, many nights filled with safe, happy dreams that would always carry them back to this magical place. And as Della and Tilly drifted into even deeper sleep, both worlds, the Dreamland and Dino Valley, wrapped around them like a never-ending hug, a promise that love, comfort, and magic would never, ever leave their hearts. The gentle glow of dawn's first light had not yet reached Dino Valley. The jungle slept on in a peaceful hush, while two little dinosaurs lay curled on their enormous feather pillow, breathing in soft harmony with the rhythm of the night. Yet, in their dreams, they were still in that magical place, floating between the glowing feather hill and their cozy nest back home. The dream lingered, stretching time like taffy, giving them a few more precious moments in that warm, comforting world where everything felt safe and full of love. Della shifted slightly in her sleep, her big head resting on the softest corner of the pillow. She could still feel the warmth of her dream seed humming inside her, a gentle pulse like a second heartbeat. It reminded her of the skybird's kind eyes and the promise that good dreams would always find her now. Beside her, tiny Tilly nuzzled closer, her little golden dream feather tucked under her paw, glowing faintly as if holding the light of 1,000 happy thoughts. In their dream, they were walking together on a quiet path that seemed to float above the clouds. The path was made of soft, feathery moss that felt like walking on marshmallows. And each step released a faint sparkle that drifted upward, joining the stars. The air was calm and smelled of warm sugar cookies and blooming dreamflowers. Every few steps, a tiny dream butterfly would land on Tilly's nose, making her giggle softly. While Della watched with a smile so full it made her chest feel light as air. Far ahead, the path opened into a valley where dream pillows the size of hills floated lazily above the ground. They bobbed gently in the air like balloons tied to invisible strings, glowing softly in pastel colors. "Oh, Della," Tilly whispered in awe, "it's like a whole sky of pillows." Her little eyes sparkled with joy. Della chuckled warmly and lowered her long neck to nuzzle Tilly's cheek. "Maybe we can take one home with us," she teased softly, "and add it to our big feather pillow so it becomes the fluffiest pillow in all of Dino Valley." As they walked closer, they saw other dream creatures resting on the giant pillows, tiny glowing dino hatchlings curled in nests of moonlight, sleepy dream bunnies snoozing on piles of starlight, and gentle firefly beetles wrapped up in blankets made of glowing petals. Everywhere they looked, love and peace floated in the air like soft music, filling their little hearts with quiet happiness. Soon, the familiar skybird descended gracefully from the sky, its feathers glimmering with even more stardust than before. "You're still here, little dreamers," it said warmly, its voice as soft as the first light of morning. "Would you like to visit one more place before you wake?" Della and Tilly nodded eagerly, their eyes sleepy but bright with wonder. The skybird bent low, allowing them to climb onto its back. Together, they soared through the dream valley, higher and higher, until they reached a hidden glade above the clouds. At its center stood a shimmering lake, glowing like melted moonbeams. The surface rippled gently, reflecting the stars above, yet beneath the water, shapes of dreams swirled like tiny lanterns waiting to be released into the night sky. "This is the dream pool," the skybird explained. "Before a dream is sent into the world, it's blessed with kindness and love here. Tonight, you may send a dream of your own, a gift for someone who needs it." Della glanced at Tilly, their eyes meeting in a quiet understanding. They both thought of all the little dinosaurs and creatures in Dino Valley who sometimes had restless nights, who curled up wishing for comfort. Maybe they could send a dream to make someone feel as safe and loved as they felt now. The skybird lowered its wing, and together they dipped their dream seeds into the glowing pool. The water swirled softly, warming their paws, and a tiny light bloomed between them, growing brighter until it floated free, rising slowly toward the starry sky. Inside the glow was a vision, a lonely baby stegosaurus being wrapped in a big, warm hug by their mother, drifting into calm, happy sleep. The dream soared upward, carried away on a breeze of starlight, heading straight for the little one who needed it most. Tilly sniffled softly, moved by what they had just done. "Della," she whispered, "we just gave someone a good dream." Della nuzzled her tiny friend, her heart swelling with love. "Yes," she whispered back, "and that's the best gift in the world." The skybird watched them with kind eyes, its feathers glowing brighter. "Now you know the true magic of dreams," it said. "Not only do they comfort you, but they can comfort others, too. Dreams are a gift meant to be shared." As the light of their shared dream vanished into the distance, a soft drowsiness settled over the friends. The world around them began to shimmer, fading slowly as the real world called them back. The skybird lifted them once more, gliding gently across the glowing horizon toward their feather hill. Every flap of its wings was like the stroke of a lullaby, tucking them deeper into warmth. When they reached the hill, Della and Tilly curled up once more, their dream feathers glowing softly, their lantern hearts full of love. The skybird brushed them lightly with a wing, leaving a trail of stardust on their backs. "Sleep well, little dreamers," it whispered. "The pillow you rest on will always bring you back here, whenever you need this magic again." Slowly, the dreamland faded, the glowing meadow melting into the familiar nest back in Dino Valley. The pillow beneath them was still warm, soft as a cloud, its feathers humming faintly with the memory of everything they had seen and felt. Della let out a long, sleepy sigh, curling tighter around her friend. Tilly nestled close, a faint smile on her face. Even in the waking world, they could still feel the love and magic of their dream, and they knew they would carry it forever. The softest glow of morning crept slowly into Dino Valley, painting the sky with strokes of pale pink and gentle gold. The jungle was still quiet, wrapped in a peaceful hush that made the world feel half asleep. Birds had not yet begun their songs. And the dew on the grass glimmered like tiny stars that had fallen from the night sky and decided to rest a little longer. In the center of this sleepy world, Della and Tilly were curled together on their enormous feather pillow, their little chests rising and falling in slow, steady rhythm. The pillow was still warm, filled with the magic of Dreamland. Its feathers glowed faintly, carrying the last bits of starlight from their nighttime adventure. The dream seeds they had brought home hummed gently inside their hearts, making them feel lighter, calmer, and happier than they had ever felt before. Della stirred first, blinking her big dinosaur eyes slowly open. At first, she thought she was still dreaming. The air around the nest was filled with soft sparkles that floated lazily like tiny fireflies, remnants of the Skybirds' stardust from the dream. She stretched her long neck, yawned the sleepiest yawn, and glanced at her little friend. Tilly was still asleep, her tiny face tucked under her paw, wearing the sweetest smile that only comes from safe, loving dreams. Della let out a low, gentle hum, the same kind of sound mama dinosaurs used to sing to their babies. It made Tilly stir, blinking awake slowly. She looked up at Della, her eyes dreamy and soft. "Was it real?" she whispered, her voice still full of sleep. Della leaned down and nuzzled her gently. "It was real," she whispered back. "The Skybirds, the Feather Hill, the Dream Pool, we were really there. And now," she tapped softly over her own heart, "we get to keep the magic forever." The two friends sat up slowly, looking around at their nest. It felt different now, not just a resting place, but a doorway to something magical. The big feather pillow was fluffier than ever, glowing softly in the morning light. Each feather seemed to carry a tiny sparkle, as if the dream had stitched starlight into its seams. When Della patted it gently, it gave off a soft hum, like it remembered everything too. Tilly giggled quietly, curling against the pillow once more. "I think it's even comfier than before," she murmured happily. "Maybe it knows we're the luckiest little dinosaurs now." Just then, a breeze passed through the valley, carrying a sound that made them both pause. It was a low, distant hum, like the flap of giant wings far above. Della looked up and gasped softly. High in the morning sky, a single skybird glided gracefully, circling their nest before letting a tiny feather float down. It landed softly on the pillow, glowing like a piece of the night sky. The two friends stared in awe as the feather slowly merged with the pillow, making it puff up even more. It was as if the skybird had left them a promise: "We'll always be watching over your dreams." Della and Tilly hugged each other, their hearts warm and full. They didn't need words to know what they were both thinking. This wasn't just a pillow anymore, it was a bridge to magic, a reminder that dreams could be soft and safe, and that kindness could travel even through the quietest parts of the night. As the sun rose higher, spreading golden light through Dino Valley, other dinosaurs began to stir. A baby brontosaurus peeked from behind the ferns, rubbing its sleepy eyes. A small pterosaur yawned widely from a treetop. Della looked around and thought of the dream they had sent to the lonely baby stegosaurus. She smiled, knowing that somewhere nearby, a little one had just woken up feeling loved because of them. That made her heart swell even bigger than the Dreamland had. Tilly climbed onto Della's back, snuggling against her friend's neck as they sat together on their big feather pillow, watching the sun climb the sky. "Della," she whispered softly, "let's promise that every night, we'll sleep here together. And every night, will share dreams as wonderful as this one. Della closed her eyes, leaning her head against Tilly's. Promise, she murmured. And we'll send sweet dreams to anyone who needs them, just like we did last night. The fireflies that had stayed close all night blinked softly as if agreeing to the promise, while the morning breeze ruffled the feathers of the pillow, carrying the scent of dreams and starlight into the new day. From that morning on, Della and Tilly's feather pillow became the heart of Dino Valley's sweetest dreams. Every night, they curled up together, wrapped in warmth, safety, and friendship. The pillow would glow softly, guiding them back to the Skybirds, the feather hills, and the dream pool whenever they wished. And each time, they would collect dreams, share kindness, and carry magic back to their valley, not just for themselves, and for every sleepy dinosaur nearby. And so, every night as the stars came out and the moon leaned closer to hear the quiet songs of Dino Valley, two little dinosaurs would settle on their big feather pillow, hearts full of wonder, love, and the promise of endless cozy dreams that would last forever and ever. Please subscribe to our channel and tell me in comments from where are you watching this video.